YouTube yes now? Yeah, we got something on YouTube. All right. Let's do this one more time. So, well, let's go. No, I'm joking. Wholeness, everyone. We're just coming back in again. There's a million things that can always go right with live. And so that's what we're doing. We're bringing some live broadcast today. So we're tweaking some equipment, getting the sound right. Everything it seems to be done. We seem to be broadcasting to YouTube Live and also Facebook. And we even got that Gram going on right here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Actually, I had a way of rolling into this today, show some videos. We could do that in a moment. We have a very special dear brother to us. Ryan, he's here. Obviously, he's been on his journeys and his missions, and he has something to share always with us, his beautiful music, his quest, his path. And so we want to bring it in like that because that's as live as it really gets is right now. Also sending a big hug out to Tribe, those who are arriving in Costa Rica right now. We're actually at Envision, or we're going to Envision, and this is the time that we're going to be culminating all these co-creations. So that's what's up. So let's get it going. Put that right here. Let me go check out the sound.
From the Mexica people, just to honor all the different forces of creation. I just really wanted to thank this community, this global family, for just honoring the essence of unification and the evolution of humanity and the reconnection of nature. Tlasokamat Wevenarito Wekayumare Tlasokamati Ana ene Aumeteyot Tlasokamati na ene tonan shutonan sintlali tlasokamat Oi venadito oi kayumare tlasokamati na ene ao Mateo tlasokamati Just wanted to send my love to this beautiful community and wholeness and balanced vibrations to all of you. Really blessing to be able to share with all of you and just many blessings for this project and this unity of this community and this global community like that. Just really in support of Seven and his work and all of the crew that have been behind the scenes, just making it all happen like that together in true balanced vibrations. Wholeness. Aho.
Just need to get that thing lined up, and then we're gonna go into the video. I'll just host it real quick. Not yet. Holden's family. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the soft launch today. And I just wanted to say thank you to my brother for coming in and sharing that live music with us. And, that's real music. So, I heard somebody say, yeah, that switched things up a bit as far as, just his range and his ability to carry the sound and this power. So it's super amazing for all of us to be able to share this connection. So let me get these mics pointed in the right direction so everybody can see me properly, and then we're going to get started. So we're going to go right into the video, but we're going to line this up first. All right. Well, I guess I got to stand here. And then this has to go. Someone there. Okay, family, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Excuse me for that loud noise. And just sending wholeness to everybody. Let me just take a moment and just take a moment to dial this in. There's a real soft right now in soft launch. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to keep going. And here we go. All of what we've designed is to bring quantum healing solutions into your space wherever you are, starting with wherever you're at.
It's definitely have changed my life on many different spiritual levels.
This past year, ever since I joined, has just been like coming home, coming back into all these memories.
I'm so full of gratitude for the platform that's been created for me to feel confident and to unlock more of my uniqueness and to feel comfortable in that.
Many of us creators, we invest hours and hours and hours on what we're creating. And when we're done, we seldom see that equivocally matched to how much we're supposed to receive monetarily for that work.
You're spending the majority of your waking hours at this shitty job.
Getting into a depression while being there, so I just decided to not go back.
You're spiritually, mentally, and emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted. You're tired. There's barely any time to relax.
That next frame. The truth is you can't just work people all day. You can't just, they're not robots.
I just left work
for the last time, actually. So today I actually left my job.
So what we do is we match people with the equivalent level of how they need to grow.
If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be on this video right now.
Secret Energy has personally helped me find balance.
Come join us.
Because ever since I tuned to him this last year, I've grown in a year. It's felt like I've had multiple lifetimes.
We're done. When people figure out that they are the ones that are creating the value, and let's say this is something that can easily be done in groups, when you can say the conscious community.
Who you got there? This is my daughter. She's 2 years old.
Nice to meet everybody.
Wow. What does that do for our future generations, right? If we really look into it.
So being able to bring children into a setting where they're allowed to explore their creativity
at a younger age.
So I have a suggestion.
This is what happens when you challenge your consciousness to develop solutions right away.
Beautiful thing is that it came at the moment when I was completely lost.
Just push through it because I'm not going to achieve any goal that I have by just fucking sitting.
What we've pulled in is people who have come from all walks of life. It's possible if they weren't using their talents and skills for nefarious purposes for other companies, that they could actually use them to not only benefit the world, but also sustain themselves. That field being open is a big game changer to how industry and capitalism works. All right, family, hopefully you enjoyed that. And I definitely am so excited. I'm just barely holding my excitement. Today, we wanted to make sure we got in here. We're actually prepping a lot of things to get ready to go and celebrate, the tribe connection, and it's a massive thing for us to begin to move out of the virtual space and into the physical space, especially with relationships that we've been developing. And then also the new people that are coming along and the amount of joy that we're sharing. So I'm just going to take a quick moment just to make sure that all of our sounds sounding good. And I have something that I want to bring forth today in relation to the Mindful app and also to what we're doing with the conscious community. So just give me a quick second. Let me check out things and see how we're looking. All right, so we're looking pretty good. The teams in the house, there's a lot of live footage. If you haven't caught the channel already, you know that we're on to something right now. We're working with documenting our progress, not only into Envision, but beyond. And we've brought things into a crescendo at this moment by introducing a platform that we feel like is much needed in the community. And we're enlisting also the community's help in this co-creation. But before we can do that, I think it's important for everybody to understand exactly what we're creating and why we're creating it. So I'm going to start with that. First I'm going to start off with just the awareness of us realizing that we don't actually have many virtual, if you may, or social media conscious communities that are out there right now. What we have is we have a lot of other platforms that are hosting that. So Facebook hosts conscious content, Instagram hosts conscious content, but ultimately they host all types of content. And the platforms themselves have a model in which they must survive. So we want to take this to another level. And the reason why we know we need to collect and we need to gather now in this unity is because there are real things happening in the world. And we're sort of getting punch drunk with all the news and the Illuminati and the troubles. And because we've rested our foundation on this platform that we're calling Earth, and we have our children here, it could become a permanent anxiety for us to go through every single day if we're in our right and left minds, meaning balanced, and really thinking about what exactly is happening in the reality and how that's going to affect us. So anybody that is paying attention will feel a bit nervous in this reality that we're living in right now if the foundation that they're standing on isn't solid. And we believe that the foundation, despite all of our crown chakra ideals, the foundation rests in the root chakra, it rests in the feet, it rests in the streets, it rests in the hood, it rests in the dirt. It rests where all of what we're standing on is. And so that means that we have to go to the depths of ourselves. We have to go to the depths of every single thing that we feed off of, what is our current. We have to go to the depths of that in order to begin to replace and restore our energetic system. So when we think about who we're patronizing, as you see, there's been, as I've mentioned, the stuff on the news with the clothing lines. We talked about changing up customs, changing up costumes, getting to a point where we start realizing that the stuff that we're wearing, the brands that we're wearing, the things that we're listening to, as we know, that those are forming and shaping and fashioning us to appear to be what we believe in. And what I mean by that is when you put on a pair of clothing or you represent something, it appears to everyone else that that's what you believe in. But because we don't have a real close relationship with many of the vendors that we have to patronize daily to get our different things, from toothpaste to toilet tissue to anything you can think of, most of that's probably coming from Dow Chemical or Johnson & Johnson. So what we've decided is we've decided, instead of doing a lot of talking, because if you notice, the network was live for 7 or 8 years. We're still live. But the amount of content that we're able to push out within the last 2 years has been somewhat at a minimal, because we've decided that we would take all of our time and put all of our efforts into creating something tangible that becomes a real foundation for the conscious community. Being 10 years in this, it gives us somewhat more of an idea of what that would look like, because anybody can say, well, let's just give them all money. But then what happens when you give somebody money that doesn't know how to manage money? Oh, well, let's just make everything okay. It's all okay. So what happens to those who need mentors and those who need order? So there's a lot of opinions about exactly what we need in the world, but the children, unfortunately, will have to suffer the consequence for the time that it takes us to make decisions on these opinions. So we feel like it's best to go with facts. And now being able to acquire facts is like almost being able to acquire gold right now in some place like California. It's almost impossible because we have all these different ideals and different perspectives that are mixed in with the facts. So we want to introduce something that allows us organically to authenticate what kind of knowledge we're receiving, where we should really go next as a community, and what kind of activities should we really be embarking in, and us doing that as a collective. And that's just only one perspective of what we're introducing. But first, again, just bringing light to that there is no real social networks that are based on consciousness. There's not even a MySpace anymore. There's only Facebook, and when you think of other social networks, they're almost minuscule. What you have is some pretty sites with some landing pages. And there's also a reason for that. There's a reason why many web developers choose not to create social networks. For the first and foremost, they're very cumbersome to manage. You're dealing with real people. Every time somebody sets up a profile, that's more data. When more people are interacting, if it works, everybody sets it out to do something that works, but they kind of do it in a way as if it wouldn't work. So a lot of social networks put their entire thing together and put it on a little bitty server because they didn't want to pay the price for the servers. And then if it grew, then the servers slow down. We even experienced that. So you got to beef up to these servers. And the more people that you get, the bigger the servers. And all of this is about, for us, hosting consciousness. It's about having a space to where when someone wakes up, as many of the people that are on this line can attest to, that there is someone there that knows what they're experiencing and willing to put the time and the energy that it takes to actually assist them in going through the process that we're all going through in some way, shape, or form. And also, through that connection, actually making it fun. Not just the grueling 3 days of the dark soul and the reptilian and all these different things that keep putting this cloud around where consciousness truly is, and actually bring it into a perspective of where we start connecting. But that means we're going to have to learn about ourselves. Notice I didn't say learn about each other. How can you know about somebody else? You don't know about yourself. So also we brought a solution, as we're going to talk about here, that actually lets you know more about yourself, lets you know about your uniqueness. Takes all the metrics, human design, astronomy, astrology, and it boils it all into a platform and a mainframe that pushes you back information specifically about you based on little metrics that we need. Birthday, time that you were born, simple stuff that you would always put into these profiles, but this system can put way more back and start getting you on the actionable that it takes to unlock your uniqueness. And then, once your uniqueness is unlocked, showing you what to do with that. See, even universities, they teach you something. Supposedly when you get out, you have a doctor's degree, but they don't hire you. Think about that. They take all the money for what it takes to actually get you to this level, and they just are so confident that this education that they're giving you is going to allow you to make it in the real world, they don't even offer you a job or a place to work. They offer you some debt. So we built a system that it not only cultivates your uniqueness, but once you're ready, it allows your uniqueness to be turned into what we call a unique asset, and then put in a marketplace where people that actually want that, people that are honing into paying attention to other conscious people and their developments and creations and supporting that, are actually there to push that further along because it's something that they need. This is not a charity. in the sense that where everybody is just begging, hey, help me. This is something to where if you need help, you can actually put in the activities that will cause the response of you getting help. So again, before we go into some of just me showing you what exactly is here for you now to look at and what you can go over, because today wasn't set up to be a long presentation, but it's just really to pay a little bit of light to our history. Pay a little attention and pay a little light to our history to actually see that this has been 10 years and we're reaching this crescendo. Even after right now, this broadcast, there will be live broadcasts for the next probably week, or some offline broadcasts or non-live broadcasts that will be showing you a play-by-play of us bringing this technology, if you may, but more importantly, bringing the tribe, which is the real value to what we're creating. It's 80 of us, from my understanding at this point, and that's not even the people who we've sent the email out to today that are already going. So we're there in mass at Envision with a real vision of demanding unity, meaning that saying, okay, last year can look like this year, and this year can look like the next year, unless we actually make some real moves, and we demand that those moves are made. Not that we think about it. I think we've had enough time to think. Not that we talk about it. We can always talk. I mean, good conversation never hurt. But really that we get in action about building it, like just to see what everyone's going to do. Because in this, I think for all of us, we want to come to some conclusions about who we're dealing with and what we're dealing with in this reality. Is it really that humanity can come together and stand on their own too? You're talking about with consciousness or mindfulness, if you want to call it that, is a $3.72 trillion industry. Go Google it. This means that you're giving $3.72 trillion a year, whether that's at Whole Foods, whatever it may be, whether that's another course, you're still giving the lion's share of that, 80% of that actually, to all the corporations that you actually think that you're avoiding. So many of the people that actually bring you, allow the trash, allow the pollution, etc., also make your whole food soy patty, just under different names. So there's a huge monopoly going on in the background, and this is also why I was concerned about what was happening to the uniqueness of humanity. Because me being a unique being myself, as we all are, just as unique as our fingerprint if you don't think you have it, just as unique as the spiral on your head and the bottom of your feet if you don't think that you have that uniqueness. But when I was coming into the world with uniqueness and following all the rules, like, hey, you need to have a great idea. Then you need to write all that up in a business plan. Then you need to have somebody that knows about business plans read it and understand it and authenticate it. Then go to the bank, set up an appointment. That doesn't work, okay? Then there's the next one. Well, get a team of investors that believe in what you believe in and then pitch the idea to them and get them. You're sitting in a room with people and they're like, well, we'll take your idea, to be straight up. I mean, you don't know anything about business. You want us to fund this idea. You're using our money. You've never done this before. We already know what's going to happen because we're real business people. See, that's the thing. Real business people know that the probability of someone succeeding that has never ventured out and trying to create something is minimal. So who wants to waste money on that? So at minimum, they see that, or at maximum, they see that you have an idea that you probably haven't paid to patent, and you probably haven't trademarked, and you probably don't know about any of that, and they're going to run out of there if it's a good idea, and they're going to take that. Right? So this is the world that the uniqueness is trying to thrive in, where each person that you're engaging with that's supposed to push your idea to the next level is actually more interested in how they can take control of that and own that. And that's what's happening with uniqueness. And so because that's happened, many people have curled up like snails in their shell. They won't bring out their uniqueness anymore. We talked about this. Bringing out your uniqueness in a normal society can have a tendency to get you made fun of or get you fired. You bring uniqueness to the job when they just want cookie cut. That's why, again, what we're developing is something that is designed specifically for who we are and what we've grown into being. Because in the job, they cut off 1/2 of who you are right away. You're not allowed to talk about spirituality. You're not really allowed to talk about personal matters, especially with any of the people that are up in the top. The boss, the manager, they don't want to hear about what happened to your daughter last night and why you were really late. They'll fire you over that. So they keep that disconnection because they know as long as they don't have to tap into your personal side, which you have, and your personal matters, which you have, then they can keep a lot of that out of a company that already doesn't have their personal interest in mind. And this is where uniqueness is trying to thrive. So uniqueness goes in. The moment you express yourself and doing something creative, they shut it down right away. Dante, don't don't ad lib to our system. This is exactly how it works. Do it by the book. Or people feel threatened by you. Even the boss is like, okay, he's coming for my job. He didn't report again. He didn't come in. He's two hours late. So there's this environment that we keep trying to thrive in where everybody's in this competition. And this is everywhere. When you can even get the NFL contract. I talked to one of the guys, got an NFL contract. He in the corner looking sad. I'm like, what's up, man? You got millions now. Man, he trying to destroy me. What are you talking about? Man, you don't understand in here. A lot of these old ball players know I'm here to replace them, so they keep trying to side rail me all the time. Take my shoes, try to hurt me in practice. I'm like, man, it's like that. It's because these environments don't actually promote the team unification, the tribe unification of everyone growing because of what? Where would the real value hinge? What is the most precious thing? I just want you to make sense to you. These are not theories, these are facts. The most precious and rare thing is the uniqueness. Everybody has only one. So there's many things, you can get thousands of them, but with uniqueness, you only get one. So it has the highest value. So they called this game theory in mathematics. Okay, like in high level of mathematics, they have this term called game theory, and why it starts with game and it seems like a game to you. It is exactly the way the financial system functions, on game theory. What game theory states at its core is that the real value is within the human being. It's within the person, that they call a human resource. And even to this very day, all the societies that we live in, especially the Western society, still believes that because each person in that society has a value. And that value is taken just like a company. Let's say in Milwaukee, that's not the biggest company, obviously. There's only a certain amount of people coming into that Walmart. But New York, now that's a different type of company. And since these are all corporations, we have to come to realize that these corporations still realize that you are the value. So the more people that move to their state, like they're trying to recruit Amazon and all that, the more people that move to the state, the more money they get paid. But they're not forthcoming in telling you that you are actually the value. They'll tell you everything else is the value. They'll tell you money is the value, diamonds are the value, gold are the value. They'll tell you everything is the value but you. And in fact, they do a good job, if you may. They make sure they cover all of their points at making you feel degraded. They do it through the media. They do it through the hierarchical pyramid type system where you have a boss versus the vertical systems, the horizontal systems to where everyone's working together. So this is what we're really looking at in the real deal. So I set out to develop things like FiAqua. Even went beyond investors and went to see a field that was so cluttered. Things that you need to know. You need to understand marketing. You need to understand leads, GDPR. You need to understand all these things that have nothing to what you think, nothing to do with what we call consciousness. But what is consciousness? And so we started adapting this vision that seemed perfect, that everybody that just specializes in what they do. My boy over here, he knows law. He's on a metaphysical law at this stage. While this sister over here, she really works well with her hands and her healing. This brother seems to have a mouth on him and knows a little bit about technology. So when we're all working together, that's why you got to demand this unity. Because when we're all working together, that's when you're going to see results. But if someone's rushing to fight, someone's rushing to argue, someone's rushing in to disagree, see, that is the virus that is actually spreading amongst us. You can even see it in the chat sometimes. Somebody say something, I'm talking around, we don't need any more of this. Well, we can use any kind of solution that we're dealing with right now just to offset so many problems that continuously are introduced to us. Okay? So let's just talk about very briefly this history of the resistance. Okay? Because I'm like to go back to the beginning. What is this? This is the resistance. Like when stuff was falling apart, like when we found out about other life forms, when we found out about Kundalini, psychoactive substances, governments, mind control, MK Ultra, that doesn't sound like any place you would bring a unicorn friend. You needed resistance. Some people say, what are you resisting? Well, do I have to itemize this for you? So there was always a conflict. Even when we chose it, said, look, this is what we're doing. It's like immunity. That's your resistance. It's your immunity. So when someone coughs in your face with a nasty cold, you don't get it because you don't buy into it. And we said that was spiritually not subscribing to all these external shapes and forms and fashions of gods that point us in every single direction beside ourselves. Because logically, when we do that, we would be sending the energy out of ourselves. And because most of these beings are not responding, then we would never be getting that energy back. And we would exhaust ourselves. And we watched really for hundreds of years, that happened to our parents and our grandparents in certain spiritual belief systems. So that's our humble beginnings. It's just saying, let's clean it all out. Let's not believe anything at this point. No more beliefs. Let's get in the know. Let's practice gnosis. Let's start climbing through Gutenberg and the Googles and every other Goog and Gog to figure out what the hell's going on here, right? So we came into the Enlightenment era, and we saw them acquire all the knowledge of how God built the planet, if you may, how we built this, and then hide it from everybody, and then introduce a new world. We've seen so much now that the most amazing and fun part is just accounting to what has happened so we can begin to respect each other more, because when you see what we've been through, instead of looking at somebody like, man, they just ain't shit, you'll be like, man, I'm surprised he's even surviving. You see, that's pro-unity. It's like, man, let's build him up. So, man, if he's that durable, imagine what happens when we clean him up and get him together. But we need facilities. We need connection. We need organization to be able to do that. So I realized that. My team, I realized that 2 years ago on that next slide of the journey where we realized, okay, now we're going to have to become the foundation. We're going to have to dive all the way down to the deepest pillars. This brother that I was singing with today, I said I was singing with him, the name came up. I mean, the connection that we all share in this tribe is that we are all the same face. And when some of us know what to do, we're always there like, okay, hey, what do we do? I think we need to go deep and go to prayer. So we in a volcano with a waterfall running into it, setting these intentions to be at this point to deliver this. This is the kind of intentions we put into it. And we also slaved over that computer, that droid, and made sense out of the matrix code in order to be able to understand what is a click-through rate, what is a retention, what is all of that. And we thought it as important, not as so small and below us, especially when this could be the very reason of how our children really survive and how our DNA survives. So this next stage for us, since we now have over a decade in the conscious community, we began by delivering first and foremost the code to the matrix, which always serves as a beacon for anyone, wherever you start. If you're listening to this already, you're like, oh, that sounds like everything else, I'm gone. Before you go, we good over there? We're not good? Video? Okay, let's get some video on in here. Okay, that means that this wasn't plugged in. Let's, hold this, everyone. Let's just take a quick moment, and I'm going to get some video right here. You want to go to that park screen? Just the first card. Thank you, brother. And it won't catch it that fast. We need to go and get a battery so that way it can. You want to go grab a battery out of it's underneath the machine, the saw machine in there. It's underneath there. Wholeness family, thank you so much, for your patience. And we'll go ahead and get here. We'll get to you in just a moment. We just wanted to change out this camera battery and get into this amazingness, because again, if you haven't seen the lives yet, I'd suggest that you go back into the threads. I guess a good place right now where they're all at is on the Facebook, the Secret Energy Facebook. So that's facebook.com/The Secret Energy. And you can go there. You can check out some of our early videos that we posted today. We talked about the cosmic clock, which we're going to be giving away a couple cosmic clocks. We're going to be requesting that, the people that are involved with us and those that feel like that this is a worthy matter that they want to share that information. And we're going to be putting out some incentives for those shares. And we think it's a really good way of getting some awareness to what we're doing. We're doing this all on our own. We could have went Kickstarters and the Indiegogos and all of that, but that kind of just seemed to me to be a bit oxymoronic and a bit against exactly what we say that we're about, because we want to do as much as we can to begin to create our own system and meaning create our own ecosystem. So I'm going to show you how we put some rockets underneath this. You want to tune this a little bit? And is this still live? All right, so y'all still hanging. Graham, what's good? The Graham is y'all still going, man. Trust me, man, we're going to get this thing lit. Chakra bars, I'm coming for you. Are we good? All right, here you go. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. You going live over there? Okay, so we live again. So, all right, so let's drill into this, because, I'm going to go into this as we, I'm going to go into this and I'm going to show you how we design this so that way it makes sense to you. So I'm going to wait for my brother to show me and give me a thumbs up. We on that screen, so hopefully you can now see my screen share. You may see me on the side or something. So how this works is that, to be very clear, I have a pretty firm grip on technology. It's just one of those things. I've been doing it since I was a kid, and come on over here. Come on over here and give some hugs. Like, this is live, ladies and gentlemen. This is, come on. Wholeness. Good to see you. Oh. You over here too. Come on. Come on. You two. Oh, this is Jeanette, everyone. This is the wife. Here's Widget B, Monica. They're all here. So you see, what we plan to do is we plan to turn the camera around these days. Y'all been looking at me for 10 years, right? It's like, there's more to it. Look, there they are. Just take a moment and let the family connect, It's just, sister just walked in, so it's one of those things. I know everybody's like, yo, what's up with the camera? You need me? Uh-huh. Oh no, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So there's lots of love going on in the background. So that's the best environment to do anything in. It's fertile. The coast is rich. So what we're talking about here. So I'm going to give this to you. I'm going to give this to you rapid fire. I'm going to let you feel this, and I'm going to let you breathe on this for a while so you can understand just how powerful it is. The most important thing is that when this was developed, I didn't say, okay, this is a great idea, let's roll this out and see if everyone is willing to support this. What we did was we took it as far as we could. And things that we knew were the key fundamentals to how it works, instead of using the technology to do that where we could have and where we could have benefited in using it, but we just didn't have access to it, we put a Frankenstein together. We used Zoom, we used something else. We brought the kids together. I mean, it was amazing. When you bring kids together, it's like you just know you're going to maybe be able to dip off to the left and they're going to entertain each other. We brought tribe together, most importantly, also in the aspect of being grounded, realizing there is a financial aspect to all that we do in this world these days, and for us to begin to be with each other and supporting ourselves and designing something that will remove us from this predatory environment that we are in. So remember, if this today becomes a dogma for you because you walk off the line and you don't even at least read what we're presenting, okay? And actually, let's get back to that. We're on that big screen now? Okay, we're on a bigger one? You can switch to that when you feel me going off like this, because this is a deep connection that I want us all to realize of how this was designed. And then when you go into this, if you just read it and you understand it, that's a big contribution within itself, because it means a projector, a manifestor, a generator, as it's often called, someone that also has it in their think tank, if you may, and is able to actually tap into the ether of what this is really about. So we want everyone that is tuning into these videos to check out what we're actually doing and see how it all connects. Because if somebody asks you one day, what is the conscious community missing? Then maybe this is already done and you'd be like, well, it's already there, there's nothing missing. Or you can itemize for them real fast. This is why we need these things. So as I mentioned to you earlier before, we could go ahead and pan back to this desktop. As I mentioned before, that we have a serious issue that is happening in the community, and it has a lot to do with, and I talk about this here, it has a lot to do with that there's not enough of the financial current or the resources, skills, okay, because we're talking about everything that equals a resource. Skills equal a resource. So if I'm a web developer, that's a skill. If I'm a lawyer, that's a skill, right? If I have money, then I have a resource. So what happens is that what the conscious community is lacking is, if I need a legal representative that is conscious, or if I need a web builder that is conscious, so I don't have to go back and forth, he understands it, because it's just a different genre. Like you can't go to Upwork and find someone that easy that's even going to be able to write a conscious blog for you, or a letter that you may want to send out to someone in relation to what you're doing with your conscious and mindful company. So what we've created a place where we recognize that is missing, and we're rapidly erecting something to begin to patch those holes, okay? And so just remember, go check it yourself, because you're not dealing with peanuts. The value of the conscious community, that's why there's a dominance in the conscious community right now with a couple of factions that are already marketing firms. And then what they're doing is they're aggressively monopolizing off of that 3.72 trillion, which only has a 17% saturation. What that means is there's still only 17% of the companies in the world that even have something that can go into that market. Just a little lesson here about how this all works. So they know that as they stay, and this is the big corporations, in that 17%, they're not only getting the lion's share, but they control the future of where the conscious community is actually going to go. Because this is where, when somebody's doing their artisan work, this is where it would normally go. These are the people they would normally sell it to, but instead, those people are buying from massive outlets. So let's keep going again on this and just realizing that what we've created then is an ecosystem. It doesn't just function as a place where people come and just dial in from a social network level. We've created a place that you dial in for different reasons. It is modular. So you may have one person that doesn't even like technology, but is actually in there because the automations of what they need to go through their cleansing process, what they need to actually unlock that real uniqueness, because that is always direct and available for them, but maybe they don't want the interaction. While you have others that want to heal. Like at the end of the day, when you learn a lot about metaphysics, you just have a lot of power. So the only thing you really want to do is something with that power, and the greatest thing that you can do with it is heal in your very own way. But where is the outlet for bringing those levels of solutions and healing? So let's just talk about the Mindful app just very briefly, just in relation to that and how it would handle that process. So we're going here very briefly to the Mindful app page, and you can actually find this in stages. I'm not sure if my face may be over this, but in the menu there's a tab called Stages, and you have an opportunity to delve into reading more about the Mindful app in itself and what it's capable of doing. Eneology, which is the system that I was explaining to you, that is like a choose your own adventure that you can plug your metrics into, and it'll spit you back some information of where to get started on this progress of growth. And this is all data coming from 10 years. It's a 10-year metaphysical data set. This is literally us answering real questions, but 10 years is a lot of time. So you come up with thousands of questions, millions, if not thousands of scenarios. And when you know how to feed that right into, which is basically a search engine on steroids, it's able to push back real solutions that worked for real people. So this is what we're doing with a lot of this information that's just sitting there doing nothing. We're repurposing it. We have Mindful Kids. We cannot discuss the future if we're not talking about our children. You can't talk about technology and that you're going to the future. If you don't have anything for the kids, that is the future. So we're talking about this same structure that we develop and that we design and that we perfect, which we already have so many pieces to, cloning and making actually for children and removing certain things that they don't need and buffing out things in the way that they do understand it and creating a network for them that they can be in, that they can be protected, but they can meet each other and they can connect also internationally. And breaking down also some of these communication barriers, because you know children learn languages very fast. But having that simple inline translation as they continuously connect. These things are simple. Some of the stuff that we're talking about today, when it comes to the complexity of getting it installed, that's not where you find the problems. When you come into the unity of actually getting people together to do it, is where we still want to bring the solution. That's why we came today. We want to say, yes, we are qualified to do this. We've done every single thing that we can to attempt to prove that. At this point, we are bringing it to the people and saying, is this something that you want? But we won't stop there. And all those that support this know that we will get this fulfilled, but it's much better if we all see this as a part of the cause of why we came here. And as I said, it's not just even saying, hey, okay, here's $20. That's amazing. Thank you so much. But it's also realizing that once this is complete, that you'll be able to jump right into this framework and begin to use it. And in fact, most of the rewards that are set up around it actually give you access to the moment that it rolls out. So let's speed through this very briefly because you have the time yourself to actually go through the entire application and how it functions if you choose. Again, we're about to get on this road and probably tomorrow, actually. Yeah, we're on the road tomorrow. You'll be seeing some live. It's going to get fun. We're going to keep mentioning Mindful app, but it's good if you read it so you'll know what it is. Share it with your friends. Like I said, if you want to contribute to it, this is really what we need right now to get this to the next stage. But we plan on heralding this for the next 3 months. We're doing our own funding on our site. We're calling it Mindful Funding because we have rewards equal to, if not greater than, the amounts that we're asking for. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. So it's really you getting a discount on something, but also deciding that that is something that you feel like is valuable, but taking the overall mission itself as a true value and realizing, okay, this is something that actually will happen. Lastly, I want to say that when we choose leaders, we have to realize that we've chosen a lot of leaders in the past that did not show us at all that they were qualified to be able to pull off any of what we put them in a position to do. Donald Trump never showed anyone that he was going to be a great president. Barack Obama never said to anyone that he was going to be able to liberate anybody and cause a mass exodus and we was going to overcome. That was not what they said, nor did they ever show any ability to be able to do that. Yet everyone threw that mantle on them and tried to expect whatever they wanted to expect from those people. We need to learn now that we choose our mentors, we choose our builders, if you may. We choose them based on what they have achieved and what they have accomplished, because that is the experience. That's maturity, and that's what lets us know, okay, this is going to happen. So to be honest, I spent 10 years proving that to the community. I'm here. And the community is very judgmental, and when you're wearing white, it's easy to see one little small stain. So being able to sustain the reputation and sustain the connection also with the cosmos and the ancestors, it's a lot to do, but it's so much more easier when we're doing it together. So let me show you a few things. So what we have in the Conscious Social Network, I'm going to go over this very briefly so you understand it, is we have relevancy, which is the biggest thing in an app that's not predatory. We want to get you right to the information that you need. If you say you got 15 minutes, how this app works is it will populate based on what you have as your interest, 15 minutes of the most high-powered knowledge that you can get right then. We have that system waiting to be plugged in to this custom integration. We have a live commune. This means we have meditations going on live where you can jump in. You can see others in that meditation in line. And when it's over, everyone in that chat can go out into a breakout room and begin to connect and then even go into the same space together if they're actually near each other, which they can also see. And they can choose to toggle that on and toggle that off. We have the caption search, which is big right now in major industries, but nobody's using it right now in the conscious community. And all it is that every single thing that you're saying into these videos are already taken into neural networks, especially when you're doing it on YouTube, and they're creating captions. And that caption is also allowing their algorithm to know how relevant it is that what you're saying to the keywords that you're using, right? But more importantly, it has a text chunk of everything that you said that can be searched through. And when we take that data and we bring it back around, this means that we're able to search through every single video that we've curated and put in our site, only the good stuff, only the balanced stuff, only the harmonic stuff, the best of the best. But you're able to search through even that content because it still would amount to hundreds of videos, but for specific words like Kundalini. And every time Kundalini was mentioned, and this is a click, and then you're already at that segment in that particular video. Very powerful tools. We have these timed interactions, as I explained, that you can set the time. How much time do you have? 10 minutes. You know, one of my videos, you could imagine 10 minutes, my stuff ain't gonna populate unless I change up how I deliver the message, right? Which I am. But more importantly, what I'm doing is I'm taking parts of my message, peaks and pillars that mention certain things, and then feeding that back in. So during your timed experience, where you got only 10 minutes, you get the height of what we're all delivering. And of course, it's not just me. It's all of the rest of the conscious community that we feel like is on the level based on what you're telling us with the message. So we always keep a firm ear to the ground about who's bringing that knowledge, and we make sure we get them out front. See, this is the thing also about, I've even been doing it already. I still have yet to see too many people really mention me. There's still that crabbery going on. But I'm always, when I see someone on point with a message, I'm like, yo, check this person out, check them out. And they get thousands of subscribers for that. Now we want to make that more part of the ecosystem and what we do, continuously growing the recognition so we can encourage brothers and sisters to go out there and bring more facts and less division, more and less racism, right? And those kind of things that, you know, they create energy, you know, they create confusion. So there's some traffic going on and some current flowing, but it's all chaotic. And it becomes a chaotic world that you even have to live in as you're getting the messages, right? From clickbaiting. We have secret location. This is toggle on, toggle off. You may have way more people around you that are not only connected with the faction, but may also resonate or do resonate with what you resonate in, which is determined by topics. So what this allows you to do is this allows you to toggle on, hey, I'm here, I'm right over here. And anybody else that's done that, you're able to see them, so you're able to click on them right away. I'm here, you want to meet up? What are we doing? And that's taking things from the virtual into the physical. So this is really the droid of the Jedi Master. Like you could connect with what you need to connect to and then put it away. The communication, we're big on this live audio. We're big on the video messaging. You know, big on what you see in WhatsApp. You click it on, you say the message, let it go. You know, the fully integrated messaging systems. We have the seeker search, which lets you search in your area for others. as we keep going through this, now that's your surface. That's your first surface layer. That makes an amazing social network, to be honest. If you just wanted to do that, you would be good. People would love it. You'd be populating so much relevancy and boosting everyone. But we didn't stop there. We went further in creating a mobile wealth ecosystem under protocols. And what this simply means is that we're not a security. We will never come under the same fire as all those different cryptocurrencies and things. This is not a cryptocurrency. This is a protocol within the network that can only be earned by effort. You cannot buy ohms and joules. You can be rewarded them by your actions, and that stops our gateway from ever being inflated, forever being manipulated, or any other stuff that's going on when anything that comes looking like it's going to have some financial power to it. And then you get all these private angel investors that just buy out every single thing in your company. And for the first few months, you're like, yeah, Bob, we got it. And then a few months later, they're like, we want this to change, this to change, this to change, and actually you to change. We got Cindy, and Cindy's more better at this. And it's okay, though. Remember, you got your 20 million, and you're crying about your dream lost and how you feel like you shouldn't have sold out, right? So this happens. So we prevent it by bringing in our own mobile ecosystem functioning on protocols to where as one with affiliation, and this is how it works. When you see things like we've created some amazing stuff, check out the previous videos about even the Cosmic Clock. Obviously, Phi Aqua is coming, Simon-Fi, Lumify. These are all devices that are really near their completion. And as we get our own steam, which we are coming into rapidly, these are the first things that are coming out, aggressively allowing our affiliates, which could be anyone, to make great commissions off of pushing something that everyone wants and is going to help them. So that's the first level. The second level is the gamification. Every move in the platform that actually equals some traction is incentivized. So if you're sharing stuff, if you're communicating with people, we are awarding you for that. Even right now, Secret Energy has an award system in. The moment you sign up, you get $5. You sign up, you're in there for a year, you're getting $300. So you get $300 for nothing, just for being a member. Who does that? But see, it can be done because when you analyze the mathematics around game theory, this is what you saw on the onset of the cryptocurrency market. There's more fiat money than you think out here. And when people just need to go and get it and bring it somewhere, they go and get it. And it creates this massive popularity. And because there's 1 billion people, there's 9 billion people in the world, how many people, do you ever think you're going to get 1 billion conscious people? Like on the high level of consciousness? Hopefully, harmonic, hopefully. But realistically, those are not the real numbers. So even if there is, let's say, 20 or 30 million, that's still such a small amount to 9 billion. Every single one of those people in that ecosystem could be sustained completely and living well just off of what we're producing on our own. This is that class that you skipped that they call math, because it equals this. So we brought in gamification to incentivize the platform to give people give awareness around when people make activities that otherwise don't go seen. Like, so when you rate, when you share, when you log in, all these things earn points that are immediately redeemable in the gateway right away. You can go sign on right now, slide the bar all the way, and spend the money that's actually there, or the points that are there, on products that are in our store. And there's over 140 items in there now. And as we open up the marketplace with everybody else's unique assets, you'll be able to use your ohms to purchase into the marketplace. And even our stage 3 is where we're letting people that actually have skills, maybe I'm a DJ, maybe I'm a singer, maybe I'm a lawyer, to actually say how many ohms they would like to receive for that service. So even if you're a person that doesn't have any money, you're trying to make an album, but we have a producer that says, well, yeah, I can do a CD, but it's going to cost you, 20,000 joules or 10,000 joules or whatever. You can actually go earn those joules in the system by doing mindful deeds and come back and say, I got you. And you can even have it where friends are also on the platform with you. They can take the joules that they've earned and contribute them to you so you can get that done. And all of them have done that without actually spending really any money. You see, like, this is how it all works when you put it together properly and you really see what is the power that is even available right now. So we have also the exchange. This is where our gateways work properly to where we accept cryptocurrencies now. We accept ohms and joules now for our products. We also set fiat currency for our products, and we also take credit cards. So we have our full exchange, but that never connects to where protocols are broken, so that we're not a security. And this is a powerful lesson to learn. And some, unfortunately, rushed out there, didn't have a chance to learn that lesson, and now they've pretty much stored their ability to create an instrument, a financial instrument, because we really need to understand that if you've read any of these books or seen any of these videos, where's the greatest conflict coming in at? Money, banks, Malta, Illuminatis, fame, fortune, all of that is all connected to banking. Why do they call it the bank? Because the traders all traded on the banks or the shores. The traders came in ships, and all the things that were transacted happened on the bank of the shore. Okay, so there's a lot to do with banking, currency, all that. They're all the same words, and I studied that very deeply. The occult version, the metaphysical version, the financial version, the Merrill Lynch version, all those to see where they all connect. And what they simply say is that you have an opportunity right now, because of this new technology that's coming out, to actually be your own bank, to cut out all these middlemen that are sharing and brokering your energy with you. And this is just something that you have to learn metaphysically when you're ready to grow up. As we continue to toil every single day, we're investing our energy, we're investing our charge. So when I put my charge into something, that's just like when somebody gets you mad. If I choose to pay attention to them, I charge that. And once I charge it, it gives it life. So if I never heard about it, or I didn't care about it, or I had been hit in the head with a hammer, so I couldn't even think about it, it wouldn't even affect me. And it doesn't. But the moment that I give it energy and think about it, I give it charge. So the same thing with a job. Like if I'm hustling all day and I'm tired, and it's happening, like it's happened to me, it happens to all of us. I'm tired, but I'm investing my energy in this. This guy gives me, this $200, $300 check when I'm done. The taxes cut is already taken off of it. They taxed me already. I can't eat this paper. Like I said, Shorty can't eat those books. I can't eat that paper. So now I got to go and I got to take this paper and I got to go buy something that I can eat. But there's so many steps. To be honest, from the first time that you wake up to start investing your energy, you don't get a chance to turn it into money into food until 4 or 5 steps later. And that's important to understand because you're counting the middleman. So this means when I get up in the morning, I go and eat some food, right? I get into the car, I go, let's say, to the gas station. I can't eat the gas. This is not power for me. So I got to spend some of this money. I get the gas. I go to the job. Now I'm working at the job. I'm working all my hours and everything. Then finally, they give me a check. I can't eat this check. It's paper. So I got to go to the bank. So I go to the bank. I cash it. They give me maybe back some paper or they put it on the credit card. But I can't eat the paper or the credit card. So then I go to the store. And finally, once I get what's from there, then I can eat it. Versus back in the day, generally anything that was sustaining you from an energetic level, you got from almost one transaction right away. You exchange your uniqueness, which is like the fruit on your tree, for their uniqueness, which is the fruit on their tree. And because, have you ever seen a mango tree in Costa Rica? It's abundant. Mangoes on the ground. So it's very easy for you to produce something that is connected to your uniqueness. Hear what I'm saying? You could do it all day. You don't get hungry. You don't get sleepy. Everybody be like, you done? Are you ready? You want to go? And you're still there. That's your uniqueness, if you remember it or not. So when you're producing something from your uniqueness, if you're able to sustain yourself by that uniqueness, just like a tree will always be able to sustain itself from its fruit. Why? The seed. Once the seed is planted, it's going to grow and it's going to keep being able to sustain its life and sustain its connection and its roots. So this is the same thing for us as we keep planting now with our new level of awareness, if you may, with our energy. We plant our energy in spaces where we're welcome, where people promote our growth. Right? Like, because when you go into the job, they don't care really about what your future plans are for what you want to do for yourself. They don't like that, to be honest, especially if you're valuable to them and you start talking about how you're going to run your own thing. Do you think they're like, yeah, Jason, go run your own thing. This is amazing. Let us know if you need any help. They're like, we need to watch Jason. Let's fire him. So it's not generally an environment that promotes your growth out there. This is an environment that promotes your growth and makes you metaphysically aware of what's happening with your energy. Because see, when they pay you, you don't know who owns these corporations. You could just imagine if they're big ones, though, they're already owned by that same network. And then they're involved in the child traffickings and all the other stuff that they're connected to. And because they use the necromancy, meaning they use a form of an antenna, which you call money, that allows every single transaction or every single current and moving transaction that has gone through it to be recorded on its own magnetic strip, which is what you see in the money. That means the moment that we touch it, we kind of inherit a part of what has gone on in the building of that current, because after all, we were there working for it, and that's how it all works. It's behind the scenes. Most people can't see it. The same thing that we call banking and brokering and loans and marginal interest, all that is going on the spiritual plane, if you may, with the current that's going through our body. So the most important thing is for us to get those massive pipelines, the big power cores that are coming into us, where's our main current coming from, to start looking at that and getting some filters on that and purifying that and getting that more connected into our uniqueness. But of course, that would be another speech if we didn't connect that with an actual application that can do that. And that's what I'm working to get everyone to understand here. There's a lot of beautiful conversations going on, but pound for pound, most of these cats cannot sit inside of anything and design something that's going to bring it to your uncle. I'm not even saying you. People feel like on this line that they're too consciousness. So I'm talking about your uncle, your aunt, the people that you still care about that you feel like are gone. That makes up what we call the masses. So somebody's got to go back in there and build the tools for them, and it's got to be worth it to them. They got to feel like, yeah, I want to do this, but giving them that option is really, for me, what I see is all they need. So as we continue here, as we finish off, we talked about that resources and that hiring ecosystem. We're talking about you being able to spin, because you got proof. You could spin joules and ohms now. This works. So it's not like somebody's holding up the gateway on you. You start clicking and earning and sharing and earning, you're already on the way. So this is not something we want to do. This is something that we are doing now, but we need your assistance in making this all into one interactive ecosystem. One thing, one app that gives us this power and this ability to connect. Lastly, we got our humanitarian gifting. Let's roll a little bit just into Eneology and talk about just how vital it is for us to uncover that uniqueness. And we've already talked about that, how we can basically serve somebody else's dream. We can start doing things that eventually burn us out, right? So that happens when we're not serving our own self and planting into our own tree. Or watering our own tree and planting around our own roots. So how we do that, though, is we need to know who we are. So what Eneology is Eneology is a system that actually allows all those metrics of who you are, as you see here. Not direct, because there's some real general things about us as human beings, and then there's the uniqueness. That's your own flair. That's your own spin. But for instance, with the primum, which is our first path, that's a leader or a mentor, corresponds to the number 1. But there's things they need to learn, because they're very flighty, so they don't have ground. That's all a part of just what it takes to be a leader. You got to be on the move. But if you never develop a system, because you're always on the move, or you always have a lot of people around you, you never actually get to your fruition of being able to support yourself. Because one thing about a leader is they have to get to sovereignty. They can't keep taking money from other people around them and feeling secure in what they're doing. Even that in itself to them is a flaw. And then they have addictive personalities, the same thing that allows them to be so creative and be a pioneer and want different things all the time. They get addicted to different states of consciousness. So they get prone to taking substances. So the reality is that when you have courses, like we say 101, 102, 103, there's 5 courses in this session: how to ground, how to put things in order, right? Because that's the other thing about a leader. They're flying around all the time, but the order is so important of how you build stuff. They need to know that, but it's not directly embedded within their personality in the beginning. It is something that has to be cultivated and grown. So that's what Eneology is, without getting lengthy about it. But you can really imagine literally hundreds of actionable points and automations. Also behind Eneology are live soul coaches. So this is a perfect augmentation, because there's some things that bots do very well, like reminding you about things that you need to do and how to do it. And there's some things they don't really do very well, like giving you a personable touch that when you're experiencing something really in tune and unique to what you need to know and answer to, you can't ask a bot about that. You need a live person. So this is what we're doing. We're bringing in the perfect hybridization between the two to make sure that you get what you need and you're able to go to your next stage. So let me just take a moment, because we're going to move the camera here a little bit. We're finalizing here. We're going to talk a little bit about Mindful Bot. And then we're going to close off with Mindful Kids. We have one more video for everyone. And we're going to get on this road, because, even this is kind of still, I love it. I love to be in here, but, I'm ready to get on the move. I'm ready to do something amazing continuously and connect with all these people that are down here. There's thousands of people at this event. And we really, really want to see this connection continuously grow. So going into MindfulBot, so as we said, now when you think about all these different things that we've talked about, the most important thing is to be able to focus it all into something. And so that's what we're talking about. We're saying that what this application does is it takes all of these grand visions that we all need, and it says, okay, so what format should it be in? Can it be physical? You know, we got some physical stuff, but there's got to be a virtual component. It's got to go to other people around the world. It's got to appeal to the masses. There's got to be awards. There's got to be, so all that, that's years worth of thinking. And then finally saying, okay, so what are we going to boil it down to? Because we have like 100 things sitting here. And this is what we've come up with. So when we think about the MindfulBot, what the MindfulBot is it's the full-on engagement in line. So this means that wherever there's a search bar, there is MindfulBot in our system. And that system can be queried to not only give you fast questions, should I vaccinate my child? Or to hand you over to a soul coach. I don't want to deal with robots. I need to talk to a live soul coach. And it'll deploy a list of soul coaches for you so you can get their vibe. We even have recommendations based on your interest of who would be vibing closer to you. And then you're able to engage them to see if they want to also engage with you. So it is a pure system of continuous communication where each person doesn't feel like they're being overstepped or that their time is being wasted. And beyond that, you don't even have to engage with anyone if you're just that hermit or you're working on your own spiritual growth, but you want to take advantage of the knowledge and information from those that are sharing it. This is what MindfulBot is capable of doing, is feeding that information to you or passing you off into automations. And it also is able to follow your spiritual profile, your own personal spiritual profile and your own growth forever long as you want it, even if that's a lifetime. But more importantly, this is also a SDK integration. And what that means is we should look forward to seeing MindfulBot in line with Zendesk. We should look forward to seeing MindfulBot in line with many of the top customer support and customer service apps as we challenge corporations to be more mindful about their employees. And this is a snowball effect. When we can start giving out thousands of licenses to MindfulBot and getting actually people that are working in corporations, because what we're offering is support for when they leave the job. So of course, you know, the employers are going to be like, oh yeah, for sure. How much is it? But what we're really doing is we're bringing those people in the tribe and we're saying, yeah, we know what you're dealing with inside of those cubicles, but we also know what you need to be dealing with at home and what you need to be doing with your diet and things that are going to empower you in an entirely different way. And so we're able to come in line for these companies and offer them a support that they don't have while simultaneously meeting new friends and connecting with people who are intelligent that have their own skills and seeing how they can progress through their growth. So this is what MindfulBot does. Obviously, there's a lot of technical behind this. Like I gave you the simplified version. We're talking about machine learning. We're talking about neural network, which basically means a search engine on steroids. We feed it information, we categorize that information for it, we keyword it properly, and then after a while, it's able to bring that information in, whether it's from me talking right now, right? Bring this information in as I'm talking, and MindfulBot will already begin to sort out during this conversation what was an upgrade to what we were talking about before. And then if you wanted to search this conversation for specific things or recommendations about the high point of this conversation, MindfulBot can serve that up to you. So it is a way that we basically decrease the amount of time that we're looking for things inside a platform. And I just want to say it for the record is remember, most softwares and platforms and apps are designed to keep you in there as long as possible. That's the whole thing. How long can they stay on the site? Oh, they stayed on the site for a long time. That is not the objective here. What we want to do is we want to put something in front of you that actually is so relevant that it gets you to what you need and then allows you to get out into the open, into the physical with those who you connect with through this or those that you meet elsewhere. So that's the key to this. Last but not least at all, as I said, we must consider the future. It is Mindful Kids. We are taking this to an entirely different stage. We're looking at what changed us, what took us to a different level. Like there were things that I learned 10 years ago that changed my life. I could say I was a kid before that point, surely with how much I knew at that point. And I saw those same maxims that were taught to me able to be taught in a childlike way. So the child would never be fooled later on to believing something like Santa Claus or believing something like a round earth or a globe earth. any of those concepts that don't make sense, that screw up everything else about how our minds and our consciousness should work. Those Trojan horses that blow up on us later on that cause big problems because we thought things were one way when they were really another. As I say, to create a curriculum from kindergarten to 12th grade, to say you can do something like that is far-fetched until you have a large council to work with that can develop that curriculum. But what we can do, and what we do have the man-woman power for and the connection for, is the ability for us, what we can do and what we can build is we can build an ecosystem that actually teaches children the maxims of what we learned. And that will stick with them. That will be something they can always go to. And we've gamified their learning process. We call it edutainment. We've brought in this other component that teaches them how to invest their money. So we're just not giving them something and not teaching them what to use with it, how to use it. We're also freezing it for funds at times, meaning letting the child work up to a certain stage, 16, 17 years old, so they can pay for their college tuition or their university tuition. So the reality here is that we're building a complete ecosystem, and we're even encouraging our unique soul coaches to actually develop assets for children, because that is also a big part of this. All the way around, that 3.72 trillion, probably 60% of it is caught up in the child items. Things for children. Families will always shop. When's the last time you looked for a conscious game for your child on that iPad? You know, when did you look for some conscious music, something to teach children how to play, you know, Native American flute, something, anything? You don't find it. So it's a huge industry that's not got any exposure. You got Berenstain Bears, got your kids wrapped up somewhere. You know, they're still reading The Cat in the Hat, getting their brains twisted up by Dr. Seuss with his similitudes. So the reality is that this is what we're bringing in for the children, and also we're coming in with the parents, because there are many parents that are homeschooling now. But anybody looked at the homeschooling curriculum will know it's an 8-hour job. And they love for it to look like that too, because they're like, we want to deter you from doing this. You're going to spend 8 hours with this kid. No, not my own kid. So the reality is that we feel the pressure in this reality because we're being pulled, we're being demanded to be in different spaces. We realize that to put a roof over our children's head may be more valuable at times than maybe having to leave the house to go make sure that we do that, and having to leave the kid doing something that may be overall undermining all the work that you're actually putting in and all the suffering that you're doing just to take care of that kid, just to take care of that child. So we want to build an ecosystem to where if you're not there, or you need that time, or you need that extra pointer on the curriculum or the goal, that you're able to link up with other parents that are also facing that same thing and already have solutions. Because there's many amazing parents. I meet them all the time. I'm one myself. And we all have our tools and our techniques of what we're using, because it's 2019. You're not raising a kid from 1985. You're raising a 2019 kid. So the reality is things change, and we need to be there for each other in real time. And that's the biggest thing about this, is real time. So what I want to do, since I've only been asleep, I guess about 3 hours, 4 hours, I'm going to go ahead and get things ready for the next level of the party. So that way we can start getting in crunk about this. If you want to think about the stretch goals, however, like if you want to read about what we plan to do in the future, like as this keeps stretching itself out, and if we have a long-term goal, which we do, this is chess, not checkers, you can go to the Creed page on the mindfun.secretenergy.com site, and you can go to hit the Creed button inside of the menu, or the Creed menu item, and you'll go and see an entire layout of the future of Mindful Company, which is the umbrella, since we have so many different factions, AstroQuest, Spirit Tech, that each do different things unique to their own right. We decided we just put it under Mindful Co. And this is our projection of what we want to connect to from all levels. So I have one more video for you, and then we're going to adjourn for the day. Just stay in tune. If you're not already liking and subscribing, mainly subscribing, the liking stuff, hey, if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. But the subscribing notifications, if you want to understand when we're going live through this process, you want to see what's going on down in the vision, because it's all the chain. I was there last year, and yeah. So if you want to live vicariously through any of us, it can happen. And we're going to be down there, or up there as I always call it, because we all going to be on that high vibration. And it's going to be very powerful in this connection. And we're going to see a lot of things change, because to be honest, I feel an entire force. My actions seem to have been perfectly timed. We rush to be at a certain goal, but that doesn't always mean that we can make it unless it's all in that collective co-creation, and it looks like it is. So let's play this final video. I'm going to go to a part screen real quick and then put that on for you. But I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you do, For all those that feel like they wish to contribute to this, we encourage you to do that. We have a goal that we're trying to raise, which is $400,000. It's very minuscule in relation to the technologies that we want to build and the people that we want to incorporate to build those technologies. And when we get off, we're not even on the ground anymore. So when we get off this next chakra, we really want to begin to actually see the activities around it. So that's what we're going into, is explaining to everyone exactly what we're doing and enlisting them for assistance. Actually, I got one more thing, on the page that I did not show, and I just wanted to show very briefly, and it's in relation to the contribution stages and what is actually received. We don't want to miss out on that part. And what we did was we decided that when you really think about it, when you really want to give, there's a way for us all to assist each other. It's a real way of actually saying, you give to me, I'm giving to you right away. So idea of that, and then actually an example, not an idea, an example of that is, we look at the Nebula package, and right away, Nebula is that you've basically contributed to this project $9. What you get from that is you get immortalized on the Wall of Fame, which is, that will always go in. As long as the internet is on, that thing will always scroll, letting everyone know who was responsible for bringing in that unity. We have the honoring, which is a time that we're going to get together when we complete this crowdfunding, and we will. And we're going to send some massive intentions for all those who have put their energy and time into it, because if you put anything into it, that's energy. We want to make sure that seed is planted properly, and we're going to do it the way that we know always works, which is with our ancestors, standing in the gap, making those connections. And then we offer a 20% discount on anything on Secret Energy. So actually, when you just go and buy one item on Secret Energy, you already saved $9. So at that point, you've basically helped us. We've also helped you, and we're moving on to that next phase. So I'm not going to be long-winded about what's here, but I am going to point out a few of the premium things that are inside of here that you may be entertained by. And that, of course, is, let me scroll down, obviously beta access. These will be the people who have the first opportunity to use this app. And as we're saying here, we're hoping to have beta already out by July. And this means that we'll be able to sell right into the closures of the year or the last quarters of the year with our stuff already set up and ready to continuously empower. And we will have the facts and the use case and the proof that it does exactly that. We have, let's say in this, we have an additional live thanks. This is actually where we get on the line with you and really just bring you into that love. You also get the honoring. So all this is accruing. So anything that was in the previous one is in the next one and more. And as you can see how this goes, we give away the University here. We give away the University 1 and 2. We give away a pro license to the Mindful app, which is very valuable, more valuable than we're willing to say at this point, but it's definitely giving you access to pro features such as soul coaches and mentorship and any of the pro things that are inside of the app. We have the Quasar here, these things that we have, and obviously it's different strokes for different folks. We just wanted to make sure that we have something in there for everyone, but most importantly, and I can get that solo camera now, we just wanted to make sure that we had something that we felt was just really connected and dialed into being mindful. And what is mindfulness? It's just thinking about somebody else all the time. Like you're thinking about yourself. Are you belching? Are you loud? Are you need to be doing for others? That's mindfulness to me. And I do that naturally. So it's going to be great to continuously bring the world into this connection. And again, I just want to say thank you so much. You're loved, you're honored. And let's get ready for this next vacation that we're going to be having here in Costa Rica at Envision Fest. So let's get this last video going on. Thank you so much, everyone. Wholeness. What's up?
Hey, Buddha, are you outside the supermarket?
Yeah, I'm dipping through, man. Like, I'm just seeing what I can see. I see a place called 7, so I'm gonna stop here. I'm right in front of 7. I'm right. You see that? You see that? That taco snail?
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm right in that subdivision or whatever you want to strip mall. Let's go, Daddy. Let's go, Daddy.
I suppose that time is the most remarkable dimension within which we live throughout our daily experiences in this world.
Yeah. Hello.
Yo. What it do? Got the wholeness right through.
Man,
wholeness. All right. Good to see you, brother. It's like I already know you.
But man, it's time to come out of these boxes though, because really what a person has done is they develop like a virtual reality around themselves where they interact with reality on their own terms, and most of the times their terms, because they can't go anywhere anyway most of the time, meaning people can't generally jump on planes, go in places and party or meet new people, then jump on somewhere else. That's a thing, you know, they get more likes, they create content, you know, they're doing things, it's stirring the pot, but it's time for the evolution. I mean, it's all here. I can't say anything more about it, just in the actions. Like I want to let people see the ilk of what it takes, the fiber, so it's not confused.
Wholeness, what's up, tribe? I'm super excited. I just want to show you my face. I'm wearing glasses right now, driving, but this is me. I'm the freak with 2 different colored eyes. So anyways, I hope to see you guys soon. I'm so excited. I think it's really awesome that we're doing a secret energy retreat before Envision to get us connected and pumped, and meet and greet with 7. Woo woo! So excited. So anyways, just wanted to show you my face. Look forward to meeting each and every one of you. So blessed to be a part of this movement with 7's guidance. Anyways, love you all, tribe. See you soon. Bye.
All right, so you know, one thing I will say is that I would love to be in 3 million places at one time, but it's sometimes not possible. You can't be in front of the camera and behind the camera. And this has really been what it's like to develop so many things, but not have the opportunity to show those things to everyone. So now things are done. So this is about to get real fun because me and the team and the tribe are all together. And in this next few days, right away, you're going to be seeing everybody en masse, and we're going to be showing lots of love. Now today's prelude actually is on another tip, because I was inspired to talk about when things change. Like when they say, hey, go change clothes, right? What does that really mean? So you see all this stuff happening right now in the media with the Burberry. You see the thing going on with Gucci, obviously. And now something is in the paper about Nike. So what is happening, right? See, in the cosmic clock, you can't change the cosmic clock. They're not trying to change the cosmic clock, because you cannot go against that force. They go with that force. So it's important to understand that when you don't know symbolism, though, it doesn't matter if everything is exactly timed properly. If you don't know what's really being said, then you're just sitting there in ignorance. So this is what they've done. They've made it so you don't know the symbolism. You don't know what it means to change your custom, right? Because let's say we have the word customs and we have the word costumes, right? So you put on your costume every single day to pretend that whatever you're wearing is who you are, right? And then you got this word, you got the costume, you got the custom, but you got the wardrobe, right? So when you're putting on the wardrobe, why is the word war in it? Because you're going to war. And that's why when some people come out dressed certain ways, they're either showing they're already defeated or they're ready for battle. So obviously what we're bringing through is we're bringing in another level of advancement. I encourage everybody to get with us, see what Mindful App is doing, because it's creating an ecosystem. It's creating a place where when we create things, we have people that are interested in those things because they know that the energy that is tied into those things resonate with them. One final point here, you know, what is hidden? What is a secret? Because we always, you know, we love dropping them secrets. So if you notice the companies, of course, Burberry, Gucci, many of these companies were responsible for making not only the saddlebags and things of the tanks and the planes, and they were responsible for making the straps, that held in the cattle to herd and the ropes that choked. And these are the companies that are responsible for mass manufacturing those things. So it's never been any love between them. And I think people need to realize that the biggest distraction with something like when people even talk about Satanism is people try to find Satan. They try to find like who is the source of it, never seeing how they're engaged in these nefarious activities at times that equal the actions. And that's all that really matters. There doesn't have to be somebody to go and find. When you're, let's say, let's talk about the real culture, the subculture within music. That's the Basquiat, the Warhol, right? Who even knows really about that except for those that are trying to appease to those cliques or initiating in those cliques, right? When you see spirit tech, when you see all the stuff that we're designing, you're like, Virgil, who? I mean, come on. I mean, what are we designing? The clothing is not functional. So, and the artistic quality is, if you can mass produce artistic quality to perfection, but have to charge that much for it, it says a lot about the industry within itself. I'll just put it like that. But now, the devil's nemesis is here. Did you think it wasn't going to happen? Meaning now all of those forces that have cooked up themselves in distortion, there is a counterbalance to all of that. And that's what the tribe embodies. So as we come in and bring this balance, it's important for us to know that this custom and change that is happening, that the cosmos is telling us is occurring right now, is really going on right now. So watch us, look out for us. It's big, big. You know, you're going to be getting this really around the clock line into exactly what's going on, into how we're connecting. So you'll see it yourself. I try to break it into something simple and then ends all of this bullshit. And when people think that technology just means computers, technology as a word means anything external to you. It is what we created to assist us on these planes, to augment us as we use different bodies. Your body alone is technology. So get the terms very correct. And like
I'm excited. I am almost finished packing my suitcase. I don't speak any Spanish. And then Uvita and Vision. And you guys! Yeah! Oh man. You see, I get chills, right? Well, I think I thought of everything. I hope I don't forget anything. But, well, it's the idea to see you all and to talk to you in person and give a hug and celebrate life and the experience and everything we're gonna experience over there. It seems like, well, if you believe, if you know that you are making your own movie right now, then this is a chapter in my movie that's gonna be a one big highlight. I'm sure of that. So, well, show you my suitcase later then. For now, I got to watch the road. Love you guys. Bye bye.
Wholeness family.
Yes. This is our new venue. Okay, it's going to be right on the beach. Beautiful terraces, beautiful trees. We have a creek. It's lovely. So I'm going to make a new post on the Envision chat with directions for here. We're just a few minutes from Envision. It's going to be very easy to find, very easy to access. And here is where we're going to have our retreat for the whole day. And it's going to be beautiful. We have fire space, we have rocks, we have beautiful trees, we have a creek, we have the ocean, and we have a lot of love.
And we got space for fire.
Yes.
All is accounted for.
That's it. All right, family, we love you so much. We'll be seeing everyone soon. Wholeness.